Ladies, I need you to stop scrolling and listen carefully, because this might be one of the most important health conversations you'll have this year. If you are a woman over the age of 60, what you're doing with your underwear could be quietly harming your health. I'm talking about real risks, not just discomfort, but infections, skin breakdown, bladder irritation, and even long-term damage to your pelvic health. Here's the thing most women don't realize. As our bodies age, the rules change. What worked in your 30s or even 40s? It doesn't always work now. Your skin is different. Your hormones are different. Your needs are different. And yet, most of us are still wearing, washing, and buying underwear like we're 25 years old. We're doing what we've always done. And we're paying the price in silence. But not anymore. Today, I'm going to walk you through 10 common underwear mistakes women over 60 must stop making. These are backed by doctors, dermatologists, and women's health experts who specialize in aging. And more importantly, I've lived through some of these mistakes myself. This isn't about shame or style. This is about knowledge and the power to choose comfort, confidence, and better health every single day. And listen, number 7 on this list, it's something I did for years without knowing it was making things worse. So please, stay with me until the end. What you learn here could make a real difference in how you feel and how you age. Let's begin. Mistake number 1, wearing synthetic fabrics every day. Let's start with something most women never question, the fabric. For decades, we've been sold the idea that fancy equals better. Silky lace, moisture-wicking materials, seamless nylon blends. They all sound elegant and modern. But here's the truth. After the age of 60, synthetic fabrics are no longer our friends. Why? Because your skin changes. Your estrogen levels drop. The tissue in and around your intimate areas becomes thinner, more fragile, and more prone to irritation. Your body produces less natural moisture, and paradoxically, that makes you more vulnerable to things like trapped sweat and discharge. That heat and moisture, when caught inside tight synthetic underwear, becomes a breeding ground for bacteria, yeast, and skin breakdown. Synthetic fibers like polyester, nylon, and spandex do not breathe. They trap heat. They hold moisture. And that warm, wet environment is exactly what harmful microbes love. I remember the year I bought a whole drawer of those seamless nylon panties. They were so smooth and invisible under clothes. I thought I was upgrading, but what I got was irritation, frequent itching, and a slight burning sensation I couldn't explain. For months, I thought it was laundry detergent or menopause. But the real problem? The fabric against my skin. Now I only wear 100% cotton during the day. It's not always glamorous, but it's breathable, natural, and gentle. And I haven't had a single irritation since I made the switch. Let me say this clearly. Comfort is not about giving up. It's about choosing better. It's about protecting your body, because you deserve underwear that supports your health, not sabotages it. Save the lace and silk for special nights, absolutely. But for your everyday life, choose cotton. Your skin will thank you. Mistake number 2, holding on to old underwear for too long. Now, this one hits close to home, because I used to be guilty of it myself. I had a pair of old underwear I lovingly called my Saturday pair. Soft, faded, broken in just right. They hugged my body like no other. I probably bought them in 2004. I'm not proud of that, but I'm being honest. Here's the issue. Underwear has a shelf life. Even if they look fine on the outside, over time, the fabric wears down at a microscopic level. The elastic stretches out, the fibers weaken, and most importantly, the tiny holes and stretched seams become the perfect hiding place for bacteria. Washing alone can't remove everything after a while, especially when the fabric is old and porous. And remember, we're more vulnerable now. Women over 60 face higher risks of urinary tract infections, skin sensitivities, and even incontinence-related rashes. So that soft old pair? It's not just sentimental. It could be dangerous. Doctors recommend replacing underwear every 6 to 12 months. I know, that sounds wasteful at first, but think of it the same way you replace a toothbrush. Not because it's torn apart, but because it loses its effectiveness. What I do now is simple. I replace a few pairs every couple of months, not all at once. That way, I always have fresh, supportive options without a big expense. And honestly, it feels good. It's a quiet act of self-respect, a way to say, I matter. My health matters. So if you're holding on to those stretched out, faded favorites, the ones with the loose elastic or tiny holes, let them go. They served you well. But now it's time for something that serves your health. Mistake number 3, wearing underwear that's too tight. Let's have a heart-to-heart here, because this one is more common than you think. Most of us grew up believing tight equals supportive. We squeeze into snug underwear thinking it will smooth us out or keep everything in place. But the truth is, tight underwear doesn't support your body. It punishes it. And at this stage in life, your body deserves better. As we age, our tissue becomes softer and our shape changes. That's not failure. That's nature. But too many of us are still buying underwear in the size we wore at age 35. We convince ourselves we'll lose those 5 pounds. We tell ourselves we haven't changed, but our bodies have, and it's time our underwear caught up. Tight panties cause more than just discomfort. They create friction, lead to painful chafing, reduce circulation, and in some cases, even compress important nerves. There's a condition called meralgia paresthetica. That's when tight elastic or waistband pressure pinches a nerve in your upper thigh. The result? Pain, numbness, tingling. And yes, I experienced it myself. It took months to recover, and I couldn't believe it came from something as simple as underwear. Ladies, here's the truth. Your underwear should not leave red marks. You should be able to slide a finger easily under every waistband and leg opening. If you can't, it's too tight. And sizing up? That's not giving up. That's smart. That's respecting where your body is now. You don't need to fit into the past. You need to feel good in the present. Today, I wear high-rise underwear with wide waistbands and soft cotton stretch. They hug me gently without squeezing. They move with me, not against me. And you know what? I stand taller, I walk easier, I feel better. Because in older age, comfort is no longer optional. It's not a luxury. It's a form of healthcare. Mistake number 4, sleeping in underwear every night. This one surprised me, and it might surprise you too. I wore underwear to bed for decades. It felt natural, safe, and even a little cleaner somehow. I never questioned it. But here's what I didn't know. Sleeping in underwear every night, especially after age 60, could actually be contributing to irritation, odor, and even infections. Why? Because during sleep, your body stays in one position for hours. And if you're wearing tight or even regular underwear made of synthetic fabric, you're trapping heat and moisture in one of the most delicate areas of your body. Now add in the fact that our skin becomes thinner and drier as we age. The vaginal tissue loses elasticity, and our natural protective bacteria decrease with lower estrogen levels. That means any warm, damp environment is much more likely to lead to problems like yeast overgrowth, rashes, or urinary tract infections. Doctors who specialize in postmenopausal care are now recommending that women sleep without underwear at least a few nights a week, if not every night. And if going completely without anything feels uncomfortable, there's a simple compromise. Try wearing loose-fitting cotton pajama bottoms without underwear underneath. What matters is giving your skin a chance to breathe and fully ventilate overnight. I started doing this a couple of years ago, and let me tell you, I sleep better. My skin feels calmer. And I didn't realize how much subtle discomfort I had been tolerating until it went away. So tonight, try going without. You might be surprised how free and refreshed your body feels in the morning. Mistake number 5. Using scented or harsh detergents on your underwear. Let's talk laundry. Specifically, how you wash your underwear. For years, I was drawn to the fresh smell of lavender, clean breeze, ocean rain, all those lovely names on detergent bottles. It made me feel like I was doing something good for myself. Clean clothes, clean smell, clean feeling, right? Wrong. What I didn't realize was that many of those beautiful scents came from added perfumes, dyes, and chemical brighteners that are incredibly harsh, especially on the most sensitive skin on your body. Here's what doctors want you to know. As we age, our skin's protective barrier becomes weaker. Our bodies produce less oil, and that means we're more vulnerable to irritation, dryness, and allergic reactions. When you wash your underwear in scented detergent, those chemical residues don't fully rinse out. They stay in the fabric and rub against your skin all day long. If you've ever experienced itching, redness, or strange discomfort in your intimate area and couldn't figure out why, your detergent might be the culprit. And don't even get me started on fabric softeners. Many contain a waxy coating that stays on your clothes and traps bacteria. It makes your underwear feel soft to the touch, but it also keeps moisture in, especially when mixed with sweat or light leakage. That's a perfect storm for irritation and odor. These days, I use a fragrance-free, hypoallergenic detergent for all my underwear, and I run an extra rinse cycle just for good measure. It takes a little more time, but the difference in comfort is worth it. Here's a phrase I remind myself often. What smells clean isn't always clean. Sometimes it's just chemicals doing a cover-up job. You deserve truly clean, healthy fabric against your skin. Nothing more, nothing less. Mistake number 6. Wearing panty liners every single day. This one's tricky because it feels like we're doing the right thing. Panty liners give us a sense of freshness, a little extra protection, and a psychological boost of cleanliness, especially if we're dealing with light leakage or spotting. But here's what most women don't realize. Wearing panty liners every single day can actually create more problems than it solves. Most liners, even the thin, breathable ones, are made with plastic adhesives and synthetic materials that don't allow the skin to breathe. When you wear them for hours at a time, they trap heat and moisture against the skin, right in an area that's already vulnerable. For women over 60, that's a big concern. The vaginal tissue is more fragile, the skin is thinner, and the body's natural defenses are weaker. That constant damp, closed-off environment can lead to recurring yeast infections, skin rashes, and even chronic odor. Now, if you need to wear a liner occasionally, for example during your period, if you're still having occasional spotting, or on a long car ride where leaks are a concern, that's perfectly fine. But if it's part of your daily routine out of habit, it's time to reconsider. Doctors now recommend using panty liners only as needed, and if you do wear them, opt for unscented, cotton-based options. And make sure to change them every 4 to 6 hours to prevent bacterial buildup. Since I stopped wearing panty liners daily, I actually feel fresher, not less. My skin can breathe. I don't have that constant sticky feeling, and my laundry routine is simpler too. Sometimes what we think is hygiene is really just habit, and once you break that habit, your body might just feel better than it has in years. Mistake number 7. Ignoring underwear's role in managing incontinence. Now, this one is personal, and it's something many women avoid talking about, even with their closest friends. But we need to talk about it. Mild incontinence is incredibly common after the age of 60. A laugh, a sneeze, lifting groceries, and suddenly, there's a little leak. It doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. But here's the mistake many of us make. Instead of addressing it directly, we try to manage it quietly. We wear thicker underwear. We layer panty liners. Sometimes, we even double up on briefs. We do everything we can to hide the problem, but we don't solve it. The truth is, regular underwear is not designed to handle even small amounts of moisture, and that can cause bigger problems. If your underwear is too loose, it doesn't wick away moisture properly. If it's too tight, it traps it. And if it's not absorbent, a tiny leak can lead to irritation, odor, or even painful rashes in no time. Here's what doctors recommend. If you're experiencing leaks more than once a week, consider switching to specialized incontinence underwear. Now, before you imagine bulky, diaper-like undergarments, let me reassure you. The newer styles are sleek, comfortable, and look just like normal briefs. In fact, some of them are prettier than the underwear I used to wear before. But here's the difference. They're moisture-wicking, odor-controlling, and designed to keep your skin dry and protected. I made the switch after one too many uncomfortable afternoons at the grocery store, and I'll never go back. I feel cleaner, I feel more confident, and I don't have to live in fear of the next sneeze or laugh. You don't need to suffer in silence. Incontinence is not shameful, it's manageable, and the right underwear can make all the difference, physically and emotionally. Mistake number 8, wearing low-rise underwear. Let's talk about style for a moment, specifically low-rise underwear. Now, I know some of us grew up in the era when low-rise everything was the trend. Low-rise jeans, low-rise panties. And while they may have looked fine in our 30s, they are not doing us any favors now. Low-rise underwear sits below the natural waistline. That means it often slides down, cuts into the lower belly, or shifts throughout the day. And if your body has changed shape, maybe a little more softness around the stomach or hips, that low-rise band can dig in and create uncomfortable pressure points. Here's the bigger problem. Low-rise underwear offers no support where we need it most. As we age, our abdominal muscles may weaken, pelvic organs can shift, and bladder control may change. Underwear that doesn't sit securely or provide coverage can actually contribute to small leaks or leave you feeling unstable. I used to wear low-rise briefs out of habit, but by lunchtime, I was constantly tugging, adjusting, and fidgeting. That wasn't comfort. That was coping. Now I wear high-rise underwear that gently hugs my waist and stays in place. It offers light support to the lower belly, smooths out my silhouette, and most importantly, I don't have to think about it once it's on. If your underwear is slipping, digging in, or just not feeling quite right, it's time to rise up, literally. Your body has earned the right to comfort that moves with you, not against you. Mistake number 9, not letting your skin recover between wearings. Here's one that doesn't get mentioned nearly enough. And yet, it can make a huge difference, especially if you've been struggling with chronic irritation or discomfort. Mistake number 9 is wearing underwear constantly, without giving your skin time to recover and breathe. Think about it. We wear underwear all day. Some of us wear it to bed. Then we wake up and put on a fresh pair, and the cycle starts again. That's 24 hours a day of fabric against one of the most sensitive, fragile areas of the body. Now, our skin is tough, but it's not invincible, especially not after 60, when skin becomes thinner, drier, and more prone to microtears. Add to that the effects of sweating, light leakage, or friction, and suddenly, that non-stop pressure from fabric becomes a low-grade stress your body never gets a break from. It's a little like wearing shoes all day, every day, without ever taking them off. Sooner or later, your feet would get sore, irritated, or even injured. Your intimate skin is no different. So what's the solution? Give yourself regular breaks from underwear when you're at home. Take an hour in the evening to go without. Use that time to wear a soft robe or loose cotton lounge pants. Let your skin reset. Let it exhale. This is especially helpful if you've just had a yeast infection, an outbreak of dermatitis, or any kind of irritation. Recovery isn't just about medicine. It's about giving your skin the time and space to heal. Since building this small ritual into my routine, just an hour or two of freedom before bed, I've noticed a real difference. My skin feels calmer, and I feel more connected to my body in a gentle, respectful way. It's not a big change, but sometimes the smallest changes bring the greatest relief. Mistake number 10. Not using underwear that supports the pelvic area. Let's end with something most women never even think about, because we've simply never been told it matters. Mistake number 10 is not choosing underwear that supports your pelvic area. Now, you might be thinking, support? Isn't that what bras are for? And yes, bras give support to your chest. But did you know that the right kind of underwear can actually help support your lower abdomen and pelvic floor? Let me explain. As women age, especially after childbirth, menopause, or surgery, the muscles that hold up the bladder, uterus, and rectum naturally weaken. This is part of a process called pelvic floor relaxation, and it can lead to issues like lower back discomfort, a feeling of pressure in the lower belly, or even bladder leaks with movement. Yet most underwear on the market is designed for fashion, not function. We get stuck wearing briefs that either do nothing to help us, or worse, cut into our softest spots and make things feel worse. That's where gentle pelvic support underwear comes in. I'm not talking about full-on shapewear or tight compression shorts. I mean soft, high-waisted underwear made from stretch cotton or microfiber that gently hugs the lower belly, giving you a subtle lift and extra stability during the day. It's the same principle as a supportive shoe. You might not notice it right away, but your body feels more aligned, more balanced, and less fatigued by the end of the day. The first time I tried a pair, I didn't expect much. But after just one afternoon of running errands and walking the dog, I felt noticeably better. Less pressure in my lower back, more confidence in how I moved, and a big realization: comfort isn't just about soft fabric, it's about thoughtful design. Some women feel embarrassed even thinking about pelvic support, as if it means they're falling apart. But I see it differently. Choosing what works for your body, especially as it changes, is not a weakness. It's wisdom. We don't expect the same car to drive forever without a tune-up. We don't wear the same shoes we wore in our 20s. So why are we still wearing underwear that does nothing for the parts of us that need care the most? There are brands today making beautiful, functional, breathable underwear specifically for mature women, with light support zones, wide waistbands, and fuller coverage that stays put and helps you move with ease. When you wear the right kind of underwear, you don't just feel better physically, you feel stronger, more secure, and more in tune with your body's needs. So, don't overlook this. The underwear you choose today could be the difference between feeling tired and sore, or standing tall, walking comfortably, and feeling just a little more like yourself. After all we've been through, our bodies deserve support, and so do we. And there you have it. 10 underwear mistakes that most of us have made without ever realizing the impact they could have on our health, our comfort, and our confidence. But now you know better. And that means you can choose better, not just for your body, but for your well-being. Because this isn't really about underwear. It's about something deeper. It's about refusing to settle for discomfort just because we've been taught to put up with it. It's about listening to our bodies, honoring our changes, and responding with care instead of shame. It's about saying, I've earned my comfort, I've earned my ease, and I'm not here to suffer silently through the second half of life. We've spent decades caring for others, children, spouses, friends, parents. Now it's time to care for ourselves with the same tenderness and respect. So, whether you start by buying a few pairs of breathable cotton undies, letting your skin breathe at night, or tossing out that one old pair you've had since the early 2000s, I hope today gave you permission to put yourself first, even in the smallest of ways. If this video helped you in any way, please give it a like. It really does help more women find this kind of content, the kind that speaks to us, not at us. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another episode of Wise Elders Insight, where we talk about real things that matter in this stage of life.